to share. Hello, everyone. Hello, Victoria. How are you, Sensei?
Oh, I'm so jazzed. I'm so excited. Like, this is such an exciting time as we're launching the World Self Care Summit, like having these conversations around self care for women leaders. And since last week, when we announced it, oh my gosh, like, I've had so many people reaching out left and right, like, thank you so much for giving back. Like, this is so thoughtful. I'm bringing my girlfriends. Like, this is just a wonderful, wonderful blessing.
It
And
is.
so excited to be here
It
with
really is. And I want to just pile on the celebration. We have been sending also information to our clients, our communities, and everybody who has already been partaking in these retreats is excited to come back, and new people who have never had a chance to participate, and they're getting the opportunity to do so this time. So we're super excited about what we did last week, which was the first of our live streams about making you more aware of the value of self care and how it plays such a huge role in our success as high performing leaders. And so we're excited to continue the conversation today. My name is Dr. Ginny Barrow. For those of you who already know me, you know a lot about me. For those of you who've never heard me before, I happen to be a transformational speaker, a leadership coach, career strategist, a number one best-selling author. I partner with organizations, Fortune 500s, to develop leaders specifically focusing and specializing in helping women advance and grow. So this is Sensei Victoria. Can you tell us, Victoria, introduce yourself?
Yeah, Sensei Victoria Whitfield here, founder of strategicmeditation.com and founder of Business Reiki, which is a lineage of Reiki focused on the energy and flow of business. So it's my pleasure to help entrepreneurs, CEOs, and leaders get and stay grounded and clear in mind, body, and business. It's my specialty is your energy behind your productivity. So
That's
it's
right.
wonderful to be here. Yeah.
Yes. And Victoria and I are friends. We're partners. We are each other's mentors. We have been together for quite a few years now. And it is my pleasure for this year. Victoria has been running her own retreats forever. She started when she was 5 years old.
Yes.
And I have been running my retreat since 2017, actually. And so we kind of just decided to combine forces to bring you the best of both of us so that we can create a space of safety and connection and community where we as female leaders can learn about how can we say self-care in a way that's sustainable. And I will be releasing a post at 2 o'clock when we're done with this that basically talks about, Victoria, how we are high performing, results focused. We want to make sure that we deliver for our teams, for our organizations. We take pride in our work and how we work. And what happens many times to us is that we end up burning the candle on both ends. And when we get to that point of burnout, when we feel like, wow, I am in this survival mode, I'm burnt out, that at that point we make really drastic decisions. We could say, you know what, I have to leave work altogether. Other
Mm,
times we think that we have to either take a leave because it's just too much, or we don't take a promotion because we feel like we can't take the additional stress. So none of those to me are sustainable paths forward, because if we don't really address what is at the core of the problem, which is our self-care, all we're going to do is move you from one geography to the next.
mhm,
And in the new job, you're going to follow the same patterns that got you to burnout in the previous one. And
mhm.
so our goal together is to help you create new programming, shift your mindset around what does self-care look like for me? What is it? How can I incorporate it into my life? And what are the benefits of self-care? And that's what we want to focus on today. What are the benefits of self-care? And we will, add color by sharing the stories of our own clients who have been down this path. And Sensei Victoria, I know you have a quick story around your own journey. And, can you tell us in like 60 seconds what that was like for you when you hit that wall and you realize, okay, this is not sustainable.
Oh, 100%. So this is my window of opportunity story. So if you don't take that window of opportunity to take care of yourself and think before you act, apparently the window is going to come back and bite you. And that's exactly what happened to me. So I used to work in nonprofit, a beautiful Victorian house, where we were doing like inspirational programming and social justice. I was super passionate about it, so passionate that I was more focused on being highly productive and supporting our office than taking care and supporting myself and my own health. It's like, don't worry, like I don't need to go to the bathroom. Let me finish this email. I don't need to eat. Let me make this call. Blah, blah, blah. And so what happened that day in particular, it was a little bit hot. So I'm like, all right, I got to hurry up. And I think I was updating the website or something, jiggled the original glass windows on this beautiful Victorian building to open it up from the inside out. And then the weights broke and fell on my hands. This is my normal thumb. This is my contused thumb. This is years ago. And I'm pushing down as hard as I possibly can. Right. You see, this one is much like this is a reminder of what not to do because it was down to the bone, wedged.
Mm.
And so I was stuck in my window of opportunity because I missed the opportunity to stop and think, well, let me ask somebody help open this window, right? Take care of myself. Let me wait the 7 minutes for someone else to help me open up this weighted original glass window,
Yeah.
right? But that was the day that I ended up working myself into the hospital because the window broke and fell on my hands. And that is when I made the decision of, you know what? The buck has got to stop here. Like, I can't. I have a toxic can do attitude
Yes.
that is putting me last, my own health last. Like, it does not make people love me more or convey my enthusiasm for this position anymore, putting myself into the hospital in
That's
order to
right.
do things as fast as possible. So that's the
Yes.
second version of that story.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And if you notice in her stories that this productivity thing, right? Like we actually want to be productive. We love what we do. And I think the biggest factor, one of the biggest factors that prevents us from looking at self-care as a selfless act is that we think about if I take the time to do the self-care, there's a few things that happen. I am not going to be there for other people when they need me. I am going to feel the guilt that I should not be doing this because there's a lot of other things that I could be doing instead of taking care of myself in this particular moment, even though it could be 10 to 5, 5, 10, 20 minutes. That's it. We still come up with reasons and stories. I call them stories as to why we can't do it. And I think the biggest factor that is the umbrella, the blanket that covers all of this is that when we love what we do, like you did, like when you love your work, oh my gosh, you enjoy it so much, you're so into it, to you it doesn't feel like work sometimes, then you don't want to stop. And you have no boundaries, you set no guardrails, and your time is everybody's time, including our families who we love so much, and we are everything we do is for our families. At least that's how I was raised, that's how I live my life. And yet I realized too that even though I love my work so much, and even though I love my family so much, that when I don't carve out the time to do my yoga class on Saturdays, or when I don't carve out the time to do my 15 to 20-minute meditations, that I am not grounded, that I'm not listening to them, that I'm present, but I am physically present, but they don't get to enjoy my presence because I'm someplace else figuring out what am I going to do tomorrow, or what am I going to do for that trip the next week, and what project do I still need to work on, or what loop do I need to close on an email that came in that I haven't answered yet. So the fact that we love our work is almost the story, right, around how come we're not doing it. And so what we want to help you today is to first understand the benefits of self-care, and two, uncover the stories you're telling yourself about how come you're not taking self-care as seriously as we know that it needs to be in our lives so that we could be those productive, results focused, high achieving leaders that we are, and to serve at the highest capacity that we can because we have a full cup. And so loving work means that work meets all your human needs. And there's six of them, and we're going to just cover them real quick. Certainty, right? You get certainty when you go to work. You get variety when you go to work. It's uncertainty, which is another human need. There's a lot of personalities happening at work, a lot of things coming at you in different directions. We have significance, right? You get significance. You feel important. They need me at work, Victoria, right? There's no way that I cannot be there. And the other thing you get when you go to work is connection, love and connection. You get to connect with your teammates, with your managers, with the people, the colleagues, the stakeholders in your projects. And the last two needs that work gets to meet for us is growth, right? We're constantly growing and learning, especially when we interact with clients and people who are really smart and who are, we're learning from.
Mhm.
And the last one is contribution. We get to contribute at work. We get to be servant leaders. So you put those together, those six human needs,
Mhm.
and work gets to meet all those human needs. That's it. You're addicted.
Oh yeah.
You are addicted to work. And so that is an excuse to find that, this feels good. Work meets all my needs. I don't need to do all this other stuff. But over time, all of you have been in this situation. Over time, what happens? You
Mm.
drive yourself into survival and then into burnout. And many of us are there. So I know that many of you can relate. So, Victoria, let's start to talk about the benefits of self care. And we will share some stories about our clients and how they've benefited from engaging in intentional, proactive self care. So,
Mhm.
the first one we talked about is productivity. Your productivity is going to improve. So, tell us a little bit about how you've seen people be more productive because they're part of, let's say, for example, your meditation circles that you have that I used to attend until we shifted. But for the longest time, we were doing meditation twice a week together. So tell us, Victoria, what were some of the productivity evidence that your clients see from meditating, from self care, from attending the retreats?
Mhm. Oh, 100%. So the importance of self-care with productivity is that it clears the deck so that you know that you're headed in the right direction.
Mm,
You are stressed out, you are stopping, starting, stopping, starting, stopping, starting. You think that you're able to multitask when you're
mm,
actually wasting so much energy doing things that don't move the needle forward or that aren't productive, like that don't produce the intended results that you are really in alignment with, right? And that is essentially how that works. So when I think of, oh my gosh, increased productivity, I think of actually one of the men that I actually work with, and he's a realtor. And so like he's trying to make sure that he's going to networking over here, hanging out with the guys on the golf course over here, starting this lead service, putting a ad over there, etc. And he's stressed out because
yes.
there's 6 ways from Sunday. Like, what am I going to do in order to sell the house? And we're like, okay, we're sitting on Zoom. I'm hearing him go through all of this, and we helped him calm down. Right, we got practicing some of his self-care was actually reading and meditating. Reading
Mm,
and meditating. And when he wouldn't take time to read like a book that would really speak to his greatness, right, and give him that positive mindset, he was jumping around following whoever was saying the next thing to do. And in real estate, everyone's being like, oh, I have the next big thing that's going to get you the client, blah, blah, blah. But when we zeroed him in, okay, like, did you get your daily read in? And did you
mhm,
make time for your meditation? And he does his yoga. When he did that, he was like, you know what? This lead service is not working for me. I'm spending all this money. I'm spending all this money. How I work best is when I go and I talk to the people around town, right? When I'm out and around, like connecting, and he made his sale, his $22,000 real estate check came through because he was connecting to the people around the town that he loves. And they said, oh, I know who you like, who could sell with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, because he was pointed in the right direction for him rather than like running around like a headless chicken, right?
Yeah.
And for us as sisters in business, right, and in our careers, we do it too, right? But
Oh,
that's the
absolutely.
first one that dropped in. Mhm.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful example of how his meditation, he's reading. Who knew that reading was a form of self-care?
Mhm.
But you have to give yourself that little sliver of time. Um, let's go to reducing the stress and burnout, which is kind of connected to improving your mental health, right? As a form of self-care. So the perfect example I'm going to give you is mine because in 2009 to 2014, I was going through a very intense divorce. And I remember that was my first exposure to meditation. And the reason why I was gravitating toward it was because I remember going to work, coming home. I was in the same house as my ex husband, and there was such a level of stress and anxiety from the situation and the whole event that I was feeling like I was out of my body. I was feeling like I was having an out of body experience with the level of stress that I had never felt in my life. And so I started to search the internet for meditation, anything. And at the time, I got a PDF about a meditation where I just focused on my breath. And that was my beginning to dabble with meditation. Fast forward 5 years after that, and it was 2015, and I decided to commit to a meditation practice, which I then became a transcendental meditator. And I went to New York City, Beaver Street, and I went to the classes. And that was the most organic, sustainable ways for me to address stress in my life
Mhm.
and burnout. And the reason is that it gave me a new habit, the habit of waking up and meditating for 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night before I went to bed. Now, I could have taken pills, and I'm not in any way judging anyone who takes pills for doing whatever you need to do. I I didn't have to take any pills. I didn't have to take any drinks. I didn't have to do anything other than bring myself to my meditation seat, which could be anywhere at a bus station. I could be at my mother's for the weekend. I could be at a friend's house staying over with a friend. I could be anywhere. I could always find my little meditation corner seat, sit down, and close my eyes for 20 minutes and ground myself. And the stress level changed forever. And that is something that even when I'm feeling frazzled, I have a lot going on right now. I have a lot of projects going on, a lot of clients that I get to serve and partners that I get to work with. And in the middle of that productivity, I sometimes feel frazzled. And so my body is basically pushing me to sit down and do your meditation. So sometimes I will throw in a meditation in the middle of the day because I'm feeling so shaken, and it grounds me and it refreshes me, and I'm ready to go and be productive. So that's my story around how self-care, in this case meditation, has helped me to reduce the stress, to eliminate the burnout, and to improve my mental health, which is such a huge epidemic that we're going through right now, especially post pandemic. And so many of us and so many of my clients have been impacted by this post pandemic wave of working and the hybrid and the lack of guardrails and structure sometimes around our time. So that's one that resonates tremendously with our community, to be able to create those guardrails of, this is when I'm available and this is when I'm not, and not feel guilty about it. So let's talk about another benefit. I know resilience is one of them, increasing our resilience.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So resilience is defined as the ability to bounce back, Right. So after disruption has happened, when lightning strikes, right, are you able to get yourself back together? And in fact, what I love is you were saying about grounding, making sure that you are grounded. And whenever I hear that word, I always think of electrical engineering because it is the, you see in the plug in the wall, right, the socket in the wall, there's the two vertical lines, but the third one at the bottom is for grounding, and that is especially to protect the circuit from popping when lightning strikes the house, because otherwise you could bust like light bulbs and set the house on fire if you are not grounded. And it is literally connected to the earth, to neutral, right? To your nature, connecting to nature.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about resilience, we're talking about being able to connect back to your center, to your power point, to your natural confident self when lightning strikes, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
when ish hits the fan, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So an example of that I would give is actually, I had a client of mine who, she's older herself, but her mother got very sick and she had to take care of her. And my client was working in her business, and service based, so she had really had to be hands on. But now her mother is beginning to make the transition, right? And she needed to go into caretaking mode, and
Mm-hmm.
it's hard because and my client at the time knew what it was like because her husband had already passed away, so now she's losing her mother. And what do you do when lightning strikes? If someone
Mm-hmm.
needs you, right, needs more of your love, your presence in their life, that is a physical demand on you. That is an emotional demand on you. That is a mental demand on you and a spiritual, right? Your
Yeah.
beliefs, your confidence, that is a spiritual demand on you that you weren't expecting. Because when death knocks, right,
Yeah.
we don't know the time or place. And so for her, she, in order to practice more self care, this is so fun, she was taking bubble baths.
Oh,
And she would get the bath bombs with intention so that she would like create her yummy sacred space with the candles lit. And she just got into the bath bombs of, okay, I want to make a wish when I have this bath bomb, and I'm going to put it in and I'm going to soak and I'm going to remember that I matter, right? When my mom, I have to pick her up off the floor, right? And to take care of her when it's late at night and I'm getting the call, I got to run over there. At least I have my bubble baths. And that gave her that regular practice of having her special bubble baths, her time, that gave her the strength to keep on going through the passing of her mother, right?
yeah.
But that little bit of self care, right? It's different for
Went a
everybody.
long way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Resilience. Oh, being able to go through periods of high demand and landing on your feet. So many of us experience these periods of high demand, whether it's work related, where work is very demanding, or family. I think you brought in an amazing point around transitions and taking care of our elderly parents. So many of us, especially in our 50s and 60s, are going through that now, taking care of, we're lucky enough to take care of our parents or family members, dear ones. So the beautiful thing when you self-care for me around resilience and for my clients is that when you have, like you said, a source of strength, when you feel strong, like when you're not yourself flailing in the wind, you can be more resourceful to yourself and more resourceful to the people that you help because you're not empty. You're not so frazzled by everything that you can't even come up with ideas. And one of the ways that I would say that self care helps you to behave in ways that are encouraging to yourself and that give you the support is to ask for help because we become more resilient when we understand that we are facing so much that we need help
Mhm.
and that other people around us who want to contribute because contribution is one of the human needs that we actually open the door and the window for them to help us and contribute to us when we ask for that help. So I know if you're listening to this and you are high performing high achieving, smart woman, there's a tendency to believe that I got this. I don't need any help. I am self sufficient. And you are. And when you incorporate asking for help, you let people in your life contribute to you in a way that will feel good for them to know that they're helping you, but also that helps you become more resilient in your life because you realize I'm not alone and I don't need to do everything. Like Sensei Victoria was saying, she didn't have to be the person who lifted that window. She could have asked for help. And that's tough for many of us to do, to actually ask for help. That sometimes we interpret it as a sign of weakness.
Mhm.
And so asking for help, asking for support, learning from people who may be doing something different from what you're doing that will support you move forward in your life and integrate your life more powerfully, that's going to support you as you continue to evolve into the human and the leader that you're here to be. So the last thing we want to cover is first we want to give you some great news about the fact that we have our summit coming up. Our first of the three this year will be this coming Friday. And
Mhm.
our purpose, Goddess Victoria, as we call each other, Goddess Ginny, Goddess Victoria, our purpose is to help you bring more integration into your life. I know if you love your work, you give 99% of your pie. If you think of your life as a life pie, you give so much of your pie to work because that is your source of income. That's how you sustain your family. That's how you're able to take family vacations. Like so much is riding on work
Mhm.
and it meets all of our needs, as I mentioned earlier. So if that is you, somebody who gives so much of your pie to work, we want to invite you to consider the other aspects of your life, your relationships outside of work, your health and your wellness, your personal development, your community, your physical space, your career, your finances, like everything has a place. So, how can we integrate all of those areas that I mentioned and create a juicy, fun, pleasurable, exciting, compelling life that isn't only focused on work? And one of my clients gave me this example yesterday, Victoria, where she's like, Ginny, we were coaching and during one of our VIP sessions. And she said, Ginny, my work has consumed me. I spent 24 years working in recruiting. And I love this so much because I love my clients. I love making the matches. I love the hunt. I love serving people and helping them find the right role that they're looking for. But I realized when I came home, I went to bed.
Yeah.
She said I had nothing left and my daughter was older enough, like after she was 13 she could make her own food, so I didn't clean, I didn't cook, I didn't do anything. All I could do after I came home from an extremely successful career in recruiting was go to bed. And so her relationship suffered,
Mhm.
her even her family relationships suffer, her friendships suffered, her wellness, and she gained 20 pounds, she told me, over the period because she just wasn't taking care of herself. So all of it around her was falling apart, but yet she was so excited about her career and how well she was doing and how much money she was making. So today, at a different season in her life, she sees how much value there is in building out your pie, so that you're not only giving, you're not giving 90% plus of your pie to work, but you truly look at your life from a wheel of life and integration perspective. How can I incorporate what I love about my work also in what I love about my personal life so I can live a more holistic lifestyle and not only give, but also fill my cup too so that I can enjoy my life while I'm here. So we just want to welcome everyone who is interested in coming along with this journey with us to join us next Friday, March 10th. We are actually opening it up to everyone who wants to join us. I'm going to drop in the comments here and I'll put it in our comments in LinkedIn. We want to invite you to join us by giving you a free VIP ticket on March 10th. All you have to do is let us know you're interested. When you click that link, it's going to take you to, let us know who you are, and we will email you that 100% off VIP ticket so you can be with us and really learn what it's like to self-care in a way that's sustainable. You don't have to go to a spa to do it. We're going to show you some strategies to do it from home. And we're going to spend the day from 10 to 4, and you're going to get a 2-hour lunch. Luscious, nourishing break so you can do your home spa treatment, do your surprises that we're going to show you what's there, and then we're going to do meditation, we're going to do breath work. We're going to release stuff that doesn't serve us anymore, and we're going to refuel and restore. And that's the theme of the 10th, to restore. So if you're willing to join us on this journey, just click the link and we would love to see you. Victoria, what are your last words before we say goodbye?
So my last words are to celebrate that it is Women's History Month officially, right? So it is March 1st of 2023, and we are celebrating Women's History Month by kicking off the World Self-Care Summit.
Yay!
You being able to get in there with the link below with your free VIP ticket, and make sure that you tag a woman who makes history in your life, in your company, in your business, in your heart. Tag a woman and or send this to her and let her know, you know what, Queen, you deserve a celebration
Yeah.
day. You deserve it. Tag her and she
You.
in the room celebrating Women's History Month with all of us at the World Self Care Summit.
Thank you, Victoria. And listen, we know it takes courage. It takes a lot of courage to set aside the time for yourself. So we are lowering the bar, lowering the barriers of entry so that you can join us and give yourself this gift. So we hope that you take us up on our gift. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.